Just a heads up to you folks sitting with a notebook and pen, Mishki, the new podcast here in Garage Logic Land, is now coming out twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. If you're in fact scribbling this down, Wednesday is kind of tough to spell. It's not like it sounds. You want to spell it W-E-N-Z, but that, of course, would be a mistake. Friday is spelled just like it sounds. You're going to be okay there, but Wednesday's a bugaboo. Let me tell you, people, just a pain in the patootie. Jeez, it's hard.
I actually wrote a comedy line.
This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble podcast. My name is Chris Reavers. With me, as always, his name is Mike Fratelloni. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Reavers?
I'm doing great. There's so much stuff that I do want to get into with you. Sorry.
Sure.
It's been a day.
It has been a day. It's been a week.
But one of the things that I wanted to get to right away was the fact that we had a No Kings protest nationwide. Everywhere in the world, people were going to rebel against the tyranny that exists in this country, which doesn't exist.
Sure.
However, I kind of wanted to approach it this way with you. Are you ready?
Reavers, I'm born ready.
Because that's what I love about working with you. I can pretty much go any direction, and I kind of know either which way you're going to take it, or I know that you're going to have a reaction to it one way or another. What was your reaction when you... And I know you were traveling with your daughter, which is something else I want to get to.
We'll get to that.
But what was your reaction when you saw things unfold via whether it was social media, news outlets, whatever?
I'm going to go on record and say maybe it was the most successful rally and protest in the history of America.
Really?
They want no kings. And what do we have? No kings.
We got no kings. We did it.
That is actually pretty damn good.
Did it.
It's going to be a wake-up call to the Democrat Party when every black person and every Hispanic person and every Asian person says, I don't want to be part of this group. I don't want to be necessarily with the No Kings protesters, and they start to vote for the Republican side of the ticket, and I think that's already kind of happening.
Yep.
But it's going to be a weird wake-up call. It was a I get it. I get why people freak out about Donald Trump, because Donald Trump doesn't care and he trolls them, and they believe him when he's trolling them.
Yeah, the AI video of him flying a fighter jet, dumping feces on protesters, that's not going to help matters, but it was funny.
But he's pissed. What we forget is he's pissed. Why is he pissed? Because they shot him in the head and tried to put him in jail, right? I, too, would be pissed.
Yep.
And I really, really believe that the people who went out there fear Donald Trump. I get it. I don't like the military coming into our towns. I don't think they should be going into to Chicago and Oregon. I don't think they should do that. I don't think it's the right answer. I'd love to have less crime there. I was down in Mississippi. The people down in Memphis, and the people down in Memphis said, "Oh my gosh, it's night and day difference here."
Yep.
All of a sudden, you can go down to Beale Street. It's night and day difference, safety-wise. But I don't think he should do it. And I see why they fear a guy that will willingly troll you and say, yeah, you never know. I might go ahead and put you in jail. It's like, oh, you can't say that, President. You can't say that, because people will say he's going to put us in jail, and he might just do it.
The one thing that was so eye-opening, and I'm one of those people. I'm cynical by nature. And when I see things circulate where you've got the man on the street interview, for instance. And my favorite thing is when they encounter someone that's actually willing to talk on camera into a microphone, and then just the simple question is asked, why are you here today? And it takes them a while to get to a rambling, somewhat disassociated point where they don't even understand why that they're there.
They don't really know.
But
it's the fear of Donald Trump is why they're there.
But the other problem that I have is when it's widely reported and proven factual that most of the people that were involved in these protests are bought and paid for.
Well, I don't know if you can say most of the people, because there was hundreds
Do you
of
want the
thousands
receipts?
of million. Well, I mean, no, I think the event was bought and paid for, right?
Sure.
The signage that was perfectly, beautifully printed, right? That's bought and paid for signage. But because I know people who went to the No Kings protest. I know a lot of them.
Sure.
Right here in Minneapolis.
Okay.
And they went because they're afraid of Donald Trump. I get it. Donald Trump's a freaking lunatic. He is a lunatic, a high efficacy lunatic, right? And I could see why people on the different political spectrum than I would say, this guy scares me. Yeah, he can scare people. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. What I don't get is if you were a 22-year-old black kid, you'd look around that crowd and say, well, this isn't my Democrat Party. This isn't what I too want safe streets. I'm not afraid of Donald Trump, a 22-year-old kid. And if they start looking at the Republican side and they say, oh, I'm more aligned with this message.
But I guess the point I was trying to make is if you were a part of, and again, if this is somebody that you know that may or may not listen to the show, that's fine. I don't care being labeled this way. If you were someone that took time out of a beautiful Saturday in the middle of October and decided to be a part of the No Kings protest, that's absolutely within your right.
Most successful protest ever.
That's exactly what made this country great, is that gives you that ability. Well, either you don't know what's going on or you were paid to be there. Those are the only two explanations, because there is no king.
We get that there's no king, Reavers, and I'm being jocular when I say it's the most successful protest ever, because there remains to be no king, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think, do you think the vast majority of people were paid to be there? I think it's maybe 1% or 0.5% or a quarter, or actually no one was paid to be there.
I'm willing to do more research to come up with what percentage that I think that is, but it's clear that there was millions and millions of dollars that were paid nationwide to put this together.
And I think that is bought and paid for. I truly believe that that's bought and paid for. But you know what? You have the right to do that in America.
Sure.
You have the right to say, hey, this is a peaceful protest and we want it peaceful, and we're going to go ahead and buy the signage. We're going to buy the permitting. We're going to do the advertising. We're going to run this. And it was a well-run thing. Very successful. No kings, right? What I found strange is that in Spain and in England, they also had no kings protests. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have kings in those countries.
Yes, they do. And I guess
so, not as successful.
The part that I have an issue with is the fact that we have a section of our society that's really stupid, and oftentimes
both sides
very influential with things like social media posts, and they're just going to consume what they want to consume, regardless of the propaganda that's being fed to them. Case in point, MSNBC, which posted a video of thousands and thousands of people are lying in the streets. Well, it turns out the video is from 2017.
Yes.
And see, that's the problem that I have with this.
You think they did that accidentally?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Because this entire notion of being a part of some type of movement that's making a change and fighting the resistance, what point are you proving? This president was elected because people like me, and probably like you, were sick and tired of the crap we're being fed. I don't want boys and girls bathrooms. I don't want gender studies at being influenced. I don't want people to have programs where I'm forced to subscribe to a certain type of ideology. I want to be left alone.
And common sense.
I want to raise my kids. I want to have a society in which common sense prevails. I don't care if you and I disagree politically. That's fine. I have plenty of friends that don't agree with me politically. And guess what? I still respect them. I still love them. They might
not respect or love you
and
anymore,
that's fine, but that's their decision, not mine.
But it's a different mindset, isn't it?
For sure it is. And I guess that's the part that I've had such a problem with what I was seeing going, okay, first, and the other thing is, most of these people, I mean, the average median age of those protesters had to have been 60 years old.
Oh, yeah. It was
easily.
It was an old group. And not even hippie old, right? I mean, so let me ask you this. When you look at the videos of the protests, the peaceful No Kings protests, I think they were overwhelmingly peaceful if I'm hearing it right. I believe those people love America, right? They're afraid for America's future, whether they're right-minded or wrong-minded. I think they have the vast majority of the people are afraid for America's future. What I didn't see in those videos, Reavers, was the United States flag, the American flag.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Well, you did see some, but they were upside down.
Yeah, you saw some. Yep. You saw Palestinian flags, Mexican flags, flags of Mexico, flags of Palestine. You didn't see a bunch of American flags. I thought, well, they might love the country the same way I do. I consider myself in the middle, right? So I'm on their side a little bit and I'm on the other side a little bit. But I was really surprised not to see flags because I could envision going, if I believe that Donald Trump was trying to become a autocrat or whatever the hell he wants to be, a dictator. I could see me going there and saying, hey, I love America. I'm bringing my flag. And where's the disconnect? Why would that side that went to the No Kings rally not bring a flag? Aren't they proud of America? Right?
I can't answer that. But what I would say to those people is I would say, you know what? You're right. You are absolutely right. You know what? And you know what we should do next? Since this protest was such a success, since the American people have heard you, since so many changes are now going to be abound, you know what we should do next with all of you? We should gather this same group, bring your Palestinian flags, and let's go have a No Kings protest in Palestine.
Let's see how that goes.
And let's see how that works out for us. I'm going to guess, especially the section that has the queers for Palestine, that ain't going to work out too well for you, for sure. Yeah. And the rest of us most likely will either just be imprisoned. We may or may not be beheaded.
Sure. I'm with you, and I see you're being jocular. I get it.
I just can't stand these people.
It's I literally a lack of knowledge. I go back to, and this is me being in the middle, the group is not a great looking group.
No.
And I just, I'm thinking of people who are in the middle, and I'm in the middle. I vote both ways, right? And I think, is that the people who I want to align with?
Right.
It's a unique looking group of people. And then I even go back to that joke of the two liberal girls who said the problem with being a Democrat is no one has boats, right? And I looked and I thought, not one person in this group has been out on a boat and had 4 Coors Lights and
just looked at the sun and went,
relaxed.
Man, this is cool.
And with some country music thing in the background. Not one person there has done that. And I think if we just brought them on more boat rides and had some cheap beers,
the world would be a better place.
The world would be a better place. Taught them how to shave their legs and just got out in the water, right?
Did you see there was a video? I don't know what city that this particular one took place in, but it was they had a song going in the background about we ain't got no kings and no kings here, something like that. And it was a group of, I would say, 35-ish people that were in the same age demographic that we were alluding to earlier. And they're doing this choreographed fitness routine, right?
Oh, good.
Did you see this at all?
No, I have not.
So it was, people in their, I would say anywhere from their 40s to their 60s, and they were mostly women. There were a few guys that were anyway,
as Joe would say, prematurely gray-haired.
Thank you. And so they're doing the hands to the left and then the hands to the right. And a person that I follow on social media who is very, very vulgar at times, but extremely hilarious, said, "Atta girl, you keep that up in another couple of weeks, someone might actually date you."
Oh God!
And I just thought,
no,
that's
Make
terrible.
fun of them. I don't
either. I don't even know why I said that.
I know I do because it was funny. But we're not here. I'm not here making fun of anybody. Like I said, you and I both said we have blessed lives. The last thing we're going to do is make fun of somebody.
Right.
But if you're in that group and you're looking around that group, and there's just hatred and sadness, and people are afraid of kings, look at the other side once, because I guarantee you, Republicans don't give 2 craps that happened. Republicans don't give 2 craps about the No Kings rally because they see who was throwing it, and they just don't take the people seriously, I think.
I have a much larger point that I'd like to get to on the other side of this, if that's okay. First of all, let's talk about We Are Nuts and WeAreNutsMN.com. Locally roasted, family owned, and dangerously good. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in charge of corporate holiday gifting this year, well, listen up. Don't be the person that sends another branded coffee mug. Be the hero that sends toffee peanuts. Oh. That's right. Their corporate gift tins are fresh, festive, and unforgettable. Whether you're thanking clients, rewarding employees, or just spreading holiday cheer, they've got you covered. Here's how easy this is. They're basically going to take care of this for you. Just visit WeAreNutsMN.com and you download the corporate gifting catalog. It's right there on their homepage. You pick your tins, cashews, mixed nuts, chocolate almonds, hokey pokey popcorn, even the famous 4. You send them your gift list. They're going to pack, personalize, and ship each tin, even with custom enclosure cards featuring your logo and also your message. This is a no-brainer.
Can I ask you a point of clarification?
Sure.
If I just wanted to send tins to Jennifer in Chicago, because she's my cousin or something, I made that up. I don't want my wife to. Now my wife's going to ask me,
who's
the hell is
Jennifer?
Right? If I want to send a tin to Bob in Chicago, like, do I have to? It doesn't have to be just a corporate thing. I can just buy a tin.
Yeah.
Right? Because why did I have to go to the corporate thing? Is that what it says?
Well, they have a giant brochure that shows you.
But that can also just be gifts.
Yeah, you could send it to me. I could send it to you.
Okay, so this could be just a Christmas gift or a Hanukkah gift or a Kwanzaa gift or whatever.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I know it's tough to think about the holidays right now, but you've got to order by for Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving, that's already passed. But for Christmas, by November 14th, I was reading my copy.
You can just go in there and buy the tins, too. If you haven't done it for Thanksgiving, just go in there and buy them.
So visit wearenutsmn.com, or you can call them directly at 612-781-6596. The Weekly Scramble. We will be right back. Okay. So I was thinking about the No Kings thing, and a thought just occurred to me because this is actually what I wanted to get to in the first segment. But here's what I love, and I'm just relating specifically to the rally that took place here in Minneapolis, or I should say Minnesota. You had Tina Smith. Mm-hmm. I think Peggy Flanagan was there. But you also had Keith Ellison.
Sure.
And the reason I'm bringing up good old Keith is because I think there's no bigger fraud in politics in the state of Minnesota than Keith Ellison. Sure. That's my opinion, Chris Reavers. So let me get this straight. We don't want any kings here because, we don't want kings. That's just bad. It's just no kings here. Yet there's a guy who sued a woman in northern Minnesota for having the audacity to open up her family-owned local coffee shop during COVID because she just needed to survive. Sure. And she was just trying to keep her lights on. Yet, I'm not going to name them specifically. The bigger brands were able to be open, and we all know who the bigger brands are. I'm not going to name them because that's not their fault. This is a Keith Ellison issue. I'm taking a point up. So that doesn't mean you're a king. Yeah. But what Trump is doing means you're a king. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Tim Walz. Some of the most restrictive COVID lockdowns in the entire country took place right here in Minnesota. You're not a king, though, but Donald Trump is, because again, you're trying to get reelected governor in the state of Minnesota, and you're running against Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump isn't running for governor in the state of Minnesota. Where to the point, Tim, where my grandma's final months, I wasn't allowed to go see her unless I had gotten a COVID test, checked in at the front desk, taken a temperature reading, had to wear a mask the entire time. I wasn't even allowed to give her a kiss pulling my mask down in the cafeteria.
And God forbid she died because you wouldn't be able to go to her funeral.
That's just it. And churches were closed. Yet I could go to a big box retailer. That was no problem. My kids couldn't play freaking baseball outside that summer. We shut all that down.
Sure.
But yet I could go to a large retailer and be around 10,000 different people. That was okay. The audacity and the hypocritical nature of every politician associated with the No Kings thing this past weekend is laughable. And anybody that doesn't see it is foolish.
Senator Ed Markey, Ron Wyden, Chuck Schumer, Hal Rogers, Republican, Steny Hoyer, Dick Durbin, Mitch McConnell. These are all senators that have been there 40 or more years.
Oh, so wait, 40 but they're not a king.
Yeah, they're not a king. And there's some Republicans in there. Chuck Grassley, right? 50 years he's been a senator. Yeah, but they're not kings. They're elected for 6-year terms, but they're not kings.
That's different.
They're just going to stay there 50 freaking years. But they're not kings, Reavers. And oh, by the way, their jets that they have that the government has to pay for them because, they're important majority leaders or minority leaders and they need to have jets that they can fly. They're not kings because they definitely do not want kings, yet they absolutely are America's royalty.
The video of Nancy Pelosi snapping the artificial plastic tiara that she was handed, and then, with her fake plastic smile going, yay. Nancy, you're part of the problem. You've been in office for 175 years.
Yeah, she's been around a long time. She's 30 years something. I don't know.
I think it's in the 40s, isn't it?
Is it that? No, it can't be that long, I don't think.
Okay, well, whatever.
How long?
But all of these people, and here was the other point I was trying to make in the first segment. The people that are opposed, and again, I am not in any way trying to suggest that Trump is perfect. Far from it.
37 years.
But the problem is the people that are terrified of him and the people that are putting up resistance against him from a political class, they're terrified of what he's exposing because their golden goose is being uprooted.
Sure.
That's what we're fighting against.
So do you think it's Democrats who are terrified about the swamp being drained?
100%.
And we'll see up everybody's skirt. So they're lighting other Democrats, their constituents, on fire, theoretically,
right,
and metaphorically, to get them so fearful of kings, so fearful of fascism, so fearful of being a Nazi. I mean, they're calling Steve Miller a Nazi. Steve Miller's Jewish. They're calling Donald Trump a Nazi. He stopped the Israeli-Palestinian war. I mean, or he's a part of stopping it. It is really weird, the words that they use, when they don't equate at all. It's almost the equal and opposite of those words.
Do you know why that is?
Why is that?
Because there's the playbook, right? And I've begged Joe for I don't know how many years. It's going on at least 10 years. I have begged Joe to write a book. And the book is just simply called The Playbook Guide for Being a Lefty.
Okay.
Because there's so many rules, right?
Sure.
It's okay if one side does something, but not okay if the other. And honest to God, Mike, because Joe's brilliant.
He could do it.
He not only could he do it,
don't tell him that.
He'd make so much money doing it. The lefty guy, the playbook. Oh my God, it's basically everything we've discussed on GL for the last 10 years.
Sure.
There's so many rules to being a Democrat now.
It's confusing. And the problem with that,
it's ever-changing as well.
Ever-changing. So you'd have to, on chapter 26, you'd say, oh, wait.
We did this in 2019. We ain't doing that anymore.
Jews, and now that Donald Trump stopped the war, now you kind of like the Jews, and you want it throws you off. Right?
I will never forget this. I can't remember if I brought this up with you or if I brought this up on GL. There was somebody, when the ceasefire deal was somewhat agreed upon last week, and a guy went around a college campus, I believe it was Columbia, and he asked, it was a female, I would say early 20s, the typical dyed blue hair, that whole deal.
Sure.
And said, what do you think about the ceasefire deal in the Middle East? Well, I'm really glad that we were able to, that this was agreed upon. However, I'm just mad that it was Donald Trump that did it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I?
Is that 37 years ago?
That was 37-year-old Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
37 years ago. Not bad. I kind of get it.
You got distracted, didn't
Sorry. So, yes, I literally, as you were talking, I was hearing you, but I was looking up hot images of Nancy Pelosi because I wanted to see what she looked like as a young gal.
Right.
Looks great still today.
Sure.
A little skinny.
For today's standards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't know we were going there.
Pretty.
Okay.
Maybe it's all her money.
Now look up Chuck Schumer.
Ooh,
back then.
Chucky
Bet he
Schumer.
was pretty good looking too.
Hot,
don't do that. Focus on the show.
Hot photos of Chuck Schumer. Okay. God, I'm a 12-year-old.
But I guess my point was, I don't even know what my point was.
Your point is that people don't, even good news, if it's done by Donald Trump, they're pissed.
Well, but it's okay. I know where I was going to go with the hypocritical nature. You look at videos of whether it was Schumer, Hillary, whoever, Barack Obama, talking about we have to secure the borders. It's just, I'm so tired of the number of people running for office that's their only focus and their only mission is either securing a seat in office or maintaining a seat in office. And they'll say whatever the hell comes out. They don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about any of that crap.
So if you went out and surveyed 100 Americans and you said, do you think there should be term limits? What percentage of those 100 of Americans would do it?
90 plus?
90-some percent. It might be the most agreed on thing that America could have today.
Which is why it'll never happen.
And you know what? They're so powerful. Senators and representatives, all members of Congress, are so powerful. They'll never let us have it. Even though 90+% of Americans would say, yes, we should have some term limits. Nancy Pelosi should not be a senator for 37 freaking years. Chuck Schumer should not be in there for 40 plus years. It's just my point. It's just my point. Chuck Grassley, that seems like a long time. 1975, 50 years he's been a Republican senator. That seems like a damn long time.
And so I want to pivot just a slight bit here because we had Dan McGrath on Garage Logic earlier today, and this is something I want to bring up with you. We had Dan McGrath on earlier today. We've had Dan on a number of times. He's a self-described nerd.
Sure.
He loves the voting. Not loves. He's fascinated by the voting process, everything about that, right? And basically has been sounding the alarm for a number of years, saying, "Folks, we've got some problems with the voting, and this is exactly plays into why we're in this mess to begin with." And so, for anyone that wants to not uproot, but try to fix this, is being labeled, they want to put poor people down. They want to put black people down. Well, how is that putting anybody down?
Yeah.
We're just trying to have secure elections. Why is that an issue? So anytime someone raises the alarm of, we can't have that, well, then I absolutely right away hold you in suspicion.
Sure.
Why? What do you mean? Why are you against us trying to fix this?
Think of the arrogance, Reavers, of someone saying you can't demand that black people have driver's license to vote.
That's so demeaning.
It's so racist and disgusting.
Yes.
And if you had to sit and look at somebody, if they had to sit and look at an African-American person and say, I don't think you're smart enough to go get an ID, because that's all they're saying by saying that. And it's just rude and racist.
Yes, it
but
is.
they have to find some line that says, we have to have open voting with anybody just walking up, because they know they need to be able to get every single vote to squeeze through what they're doing. And if they have to pretend that they care about African Americans for a little bit, right? Which, isn't that really funny? That up until every election, half of the world in politics really cares about African Americans, and then right after the election, what happens?
They don't give
nothing.
They don't give a crap.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That's why African Americans are flocking to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Donald Trump wanted. His numbers were out of control.
But the thing that I stressed, and I asked this on the show, and he actually gave a really great answer. I know you haven't had the chance to listen to the show because I technically haven't posted it yet. But the point was, I said, how can anyone, and I'm a cynic by nature, I'm full disclosure there, I know I am, but how can anyone believe that our elections are secure, especially here when one particular party has full control of our state and one particular party in our state knows how to work that particular system?
Sure.
And he said, well, you have every right to be skeptical of everything. And I thought, Mike, to this day, Tuesday, October 21st, we are 2 weeks exactly away from the most important election in the history of the city of Minneapolis. And I mean that.
Sure.
I've said that a number of times, and I believe that thoroughly. The precarious state, I talked to Jim Rubin. He said, this is the most important election in Minneapolis. Because if Omar Fateh is elected, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, I hope
territory.
I hope Democrat Jacob Fry wins. I don't live in Minneapolis.
Too.
I would go vote for him. I would go vote. The family that I have in Minneapolis, I'm saying, hey, please go vote for Jacob Fry. 100%. And I think he's the only Democrat running. Right? Omar Fateh is not a Democrat. He's a socialist.
He's a socialist.
That's different. You might as well call him a communist. We can call it socialism. Socialism always bleeds to communism eventually, right?
Yep.
In my book, it always does. And we only have one option. It's Jacob Fry in Minneapolis, and we have to have Jacob win. I think Dan might be right. There might be a bunch of fraud in elections here. I think we are such a blue state already, Reavers,
that it doesn't matter.
It won't even matter.
Sure.
Right? How many fraudulent votes? And you did bring up, didn't you say that Keith Ellison was just won by the hair of his chinny chin chin?
It was less than 1%.
So less than 1% is still thousands of votes.
Sure.
But it's getting closer where true fraud could flip an election. But when you're winning in this state 75-25, or, a Republican gets 80 votes out of the 8,000 casts, it doesn't matter how many you fake.
But think of that. Walz and Ellison have both made the claim that they're running for re-election, despite the fact that billions of dollars of fraud have happened under their watch, where campaign contributions were made from these various fraud campaigns to them.
Yep.
It's maddening.
No kings, though. No kings.
We can't have any kings.
When I run for governor the third time, no kings.
What about Burger King?
Oh, I do.
I
like
love a
good Burger
Whopper.
King.
Oh, God.
No,
a Whopper?
sausage sandwich.
That's pretty damn good, too.
Yeah.
You know what you actually get?
What?
You get 2 Junior Whoppers.
Oh.
And then you just have both of them.
And you stack them on top of each other because you're getting the small ones. Right.
It's a small Whopper.
This is not a commercial for Burger King.
It
but
really
that sounds
isn't.
pretty damn good. Great fries.
It is a commercial for North American Banking Company. However, it's banking done differently, and you get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. I actually drove by the Hastings location just the other day. It's a beautiful facility. And you know what? Even more importantly, since 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. And while a lot has changed since then, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities, that has not. And you know what? They want to take care of you, your family, and your business. And they're locally owned and operated. Here's why that's important. That means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps all of you business owners solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence. They deal with numbers every single day, but you are never one of them. So your first step can be checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. The Weekly Scramble. We will be right back. I have a question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
How much fun did you have this weekend?
So
I saw your phone. Let me just say quickly, and I want you to go.
Yep.
I love it so much because my kids are a little bit younger than your girls, and I could tell you had a blast with your daughter.
I did, and I gave this to the frat pack. I put this up on the frat pack already. So my daughter and I went down to Alabama, University of Alabama, and Ole Miss. Right, so we toured.
Where do you
both
fly into,
schools.
by the way?
We flew into Memphis because I actually have an office in Memphis too.
Oh, okay.
We flew into Memphis.
Work trip.
Attaboy. Drove down to. I'll tell you a funny story about that. I drove down to Oxford. Right, stopped at Ole Miss, spent the night there.
How far is that?
Hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's real convenient out of Memphis.
Oh, cool.
That's the main airport closest to Oxford.
Cool.
So for me, that works out, right? Then we stayed there, and then we decided to go over to Alabama, which we had, and we had a tour at Alabama on a Friday. We stayed for the game, Alabama, Tennessee.
Which was a great game.
Great game Saturday night.
I was watching because I was texting you. I'm like, I'm going to watch this game. Hell yeah.
SEC football is completely better than professional football. It is, the vibe is
the
different.
Atmosphere, everything.
The tailgating is better. The people, everything about it was outstanding, right? And I'm trying to figure out which school that I would like my daughter to go to, right? It's her choice, right? Within reason. Like if she picks some school that I didn't love, I'd weigh in on a little harder. But I would really love people to write in Mike@GarageLogic.com. Mike@GarageLogic is my email. Mike@GarageLogic.com. I want to make sure it's right.
Yep.
If you have any experience with Alabama or any experience with Ole Miss, please let me know. Send me that. A lot of people go to Alabama, so there's a lot of Roll Tiders out there, right?
Sure.
In fact, when we were walking around Ole Miss, because we went from Ole Miss to Alabama, stayed a couple days, and then we had to go back to the airport, so we stopped at Ole Miss one more time just to walk around campus. My daughter has an Ole Miss Roll Tide sweatshirt on. People are driving up to us she had a Roll Tide Alabama sweatshirt. Let me say that right.
Okay.
We're on the Ole Miss campus. People are rolling down their window, screaming "Roll Tide" to her, even though we're in Mississippi at Ole Miss. Right?
That's crazy.
And my daughter's like, "What am I supposed to do?" I said, "You got to yell Roll Tide, right?
Yeah,
that's
right.
the thing. You got to do it." And I had such great conversations, so much so, my daughter said, "Oh my God, please stop talking to people. Stop asking them what they think of the school, right? Stop asking." So I have a buddy, his name is Boyd, and he's the president of Orgill, the company that bought my company.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And he went to Alabama, and I really respect Boyd, and he's a real bright guy and a real fun guy. And so I texted him. I said, "Hey, Boyd, are you down here?" And a couple other people that I know that work for the company that bought us. And I said, "Hey, are you here? Because I want to catch up and see you, and we'll go to the game." And he said, "No, go ahead and here, I'll get you in touch with some of my boys, and we'll go down." And I thought he was in a fraternity, so I thought, okay, his frat is here. I'm going to walk my daughter into a frat house. What's going on? So we finally make it over to these two guys, and they were his sons that also went to Alabama. These two guys, Adam and Austin, right? Boyd and Sons.
Yep.
could not have been more gentlemanly, could not have been more graceful to my daughter.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they said, here's Sarah. She's a sorority girl from here. Here's Jenny. She went here. And the girls, the sorority girls are saying, you're going to love it here in Alabama. Like all this sweet talk.
With the Southern charm.
And they're like, here's my telephone number. If you need anything, Doll, you just let me. I mean, it could not have been
dude,
sweeter.
that's so
I'm
awesome.
looking at my daughter. She's looking at me like, I'm going to Alabama, right? I mean, she is just all in because, again, Boyd and Sons, again, I thought they were going to be his frat brothers, but were literally his sons.
Actual boys. Yeah,
Just
right.
had this huge setup, and I said, do you go to a lot of games? And one says, well, I live here. Like, I went to school here, and I decided to stay in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
That's
right. So you could
cool.
go to, it was really, really a special thing. And the neurotic Mike said, we were end of the third quarter, going into the fourth. We were waiting for them to play this Tennessee song that they do, this Alabama band, where it has some Tennessee vibes in it. And my daughter really wanted to stay for that. And I'm like, it must be at the end of the game, but I don't want to leave here with 100,000 people because we parked like 4 miles that way.
Minnesota sense took over.
Like we need to figure out how to get out of here. Plus, we were stuck. There was no hotels in Alabama around Tuscaloosa.
Sure.
So we were like an hour and a half out. So I didn't want to be stuck in traffic for 2 hours and then have an hour and a half drive to get out of town. I just didn't want to do it.
Sure.
So we left a little early. Reavers, I'm going to tell you, we left maybe 7 minutes before the end of the game. We were, you know how they have those big winding staircase or
Sure.
winding ramps that go down?
Yep.
We were the only person on the ramp, my daughter and I, the only two people on that ramp leaving. And it was obvious at this point that Alabama was going to win, right?
Yep.
It was a foregone conclusion. People stay for the very end. They light up cigars at the end. They sing songs together at the end of the... I was talking to some people. And I said, if that would have been a Gophers game and we had a lead of 17 with whatever it was, lead of 17 with
Sure.
with 15 minutes left, it would have been empty.
Yeah.
It would have been absolutely empty. And I could not believe how cool that was.
So it's an event.
It was more than an event.
Yeah.
And then we were walking back through the tailgating things, right? All these
Yeah.
big tents, TVs set up all over the place, really nice things. People just passed out, just laying, just sleeping under their tents. And this was while the game was going on, right?
Right.
Not everybody had a ticket. It was unbelievable. I do think the Ole Miss campus is just as charming as you can get. And that town's charming. We had at the one hotel, I said to the gal, I said, what's your name? She goes, my name is Miss Deborah. And I was like, you are my new favorite person. I'm like, Miss Deborah, if you could just take care of my sweet daughter while you're down here, she'll work for you here. I mean, it was just, the South is super charming.
Yeah.
And I must be missing something because I don't know why everybody doesn't live down there, right? I don't get why people want to live down there.
It is cool because I have a really good friend. His name is Joel, and he works for the Coast Guard. He does like IT system software for the Coast Guard. And one of the things we were always trying to do, he's been stationed in Miami, Chicago, St. Louis. He's been all over the country, right? He's been everywhere. And he's a huge college football fan.
Sure.
And one of the things we were going to do is we wanted to start setting up a tradition where once a year we picked a game and just to go as neutral observers, which I thought would be so much fun.
Sure.
And that's, so you're just rekindling, like, that would be so much fun just to do because, again, I have said just going somewhere neutral is such a great experience because you don't give a damn who wins or loses the game. You're there for the experience.
It has to be an SEC game.
Yeah.
SEC football is just different.
It's just different.
It's just 100,000. So they said in Tuscaloosa, the population of Tuscaloosa is 100,000. And on big SEC rival games,
Like Tennessee.
you know what it goes to?
Oh, God.
300,000.
Are you kidding me?
200,000 people coming to town. I'm like, that can't be true.
Well, what does a stadium hold? The stadium,
100,000
I was going to say
people.
the stadium
Yeah.
itself holds 100,000.
So, I mean, it's the entire population of the city
Wow.
they can go into the stadium, but another couple 100,000 people come in. It was really, really a special thing. We did sit next to two total a-holes that were Alabama fans. We're almost to the very top, like, of the stadium.
Sure.
Right? And these guys would not stop screaming. Would not stop. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, like, you're 240
Nobody can
yards
hear
from
you
the play,
except for
dude.
me.
Right? And
Yeah.
just screaming. And it made me, again, I was kind of hot on my daughter going to Ole Miss instead of Alabama because it just seems a little, Alabama seems like you're going into a dance club. Ole Miss seems like you're going into a fine dining restaurant. Right?
Oh, sure.
Like, it's just,
Okay.
that's the feeling different. And I was saying to her, like, those are the guys here. Like, this a-hole moron that just
You aren't
screamed.
meeting Mr. Right here.
Yeah, I mean, like, you might, and I'm sure there's gentlemen, and I know there
Yeah,
are.
I'm kidding.
But I was trying to get my daughter to get it. What I didn't want her to do is fall in love with her English teacher, right? Because I wanted to marry my English teacher when she got out of jail.
You did?
Yep. But apparently, you can't end a sentence with a proposition. Oh, Reavers.
He strikes again.
Reavers, you are the best.
Please do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast. It helps other people find the show. It helps us out as well. And we appreciate each and every single one of you. His name is Mike Fratelloni. My name is Chris Reavers. Thank you so very much for listening to the Weekly Scramble podcast.
Jazz hands.
We'll talk to you again next time. Until then, cheers.